The truth is not always beautiful, but the hunger for truth is what makes you powerful. And that's exactly why women do not want you to find this video. They don't want you to hear what I'm about to say, because once you do, you can't. Go back. Once you see through the illusion, you no longer chase shadows. You chase mastery. And today, we channel one of the most brutally honest philosophers of all time, Arthur Schopenhauer, to expose the truth about human nature, desire, and power. Let's begin. Schopenhauer didn't see women as evil. He saw them as expressions of a deeper force in nature. He believed that all life is governed by what he called the will to life, a blind, relentless drive toward survival and reproduction. Every human behavior, no matter how sophisticated or romantic it may appear, is ultimately rooted in this primal instinct. When it comes to female behavior, that means one thing. Women are biologically wired to seek out the strongest mate possible, not out of malice or manipulation, but out of deeply embedded evolutionary programming. What modern men often interpret as confusion, flakiness, or cruelty, like ghosting, friend-zoning, or constantly shifting attraction, isn't personal. It's natural selection playing out in real time. Women are designed by nature to be choosy, selective, and emotionally responsive to power and status. Not the status you flash on Instagram, but the real felt sense of dominance, self-control, and competence. This isn't about blaming women. It's about understanding the rules of the game. If you're soft, needy, insecure, or uncertain of your value, you're filtered out. Not because she's mean, but because nature doesn't care about your feelings. Nature only cares about fitness, survival, and the continuation of strong genetic lines. The man who resents this is doomed to repeat failure. The man who accepts it, adapts, and evolves becomes powerful. When you stop expecting women to behave like characters from a movie and start understanding them as part of nature's design, everything changes. You stop being hurt by rejection and start being motivated by it. You stop asking, "Why doesn't she want me?" and start asking, "How can I become undeniable?" That shift in mindset is where transformation begins, because the truth is, nature doesn't reward the nice guy. It rewards the strong one. Female hypergamy is not a modern trend. It's an ancient biological law. Hypergamy means women are instinctively drawn to mate up toward a man who is stronger, more capable, more dominant, and more resourceful than they are. This isn't a social construct or a cultural invention. It's hardwired into the biology of the human species, and Schopenhauer recognized it long before the term was popularized. Throughout history, women who chose high-value mates increased the chances of their offspring surviving and thriving. Evolution favored women who could detect strength, status, and security in a man, and that instinct still operates beneath the surface of every interaction. You might think you're connecting on a personal level, but what's really happening is a subconscious assessment. Are you the best option available? Are you a provider, a protector, a man she can look up to and rely on? When a woman loses attraction, it's often because her instinct tells her she could do better. That's not cold. That's evolution doing its job. And many men suffer because they believe love is enough, because they don't realize that attraction is not a choice, and it certainly isn't guaranteed just because you're a good guy. In reality, the more she senses that she's above you, financially, emotionally, socially, the more her respect and desire fade. To thrive in this system, you must stop fighting the rules and start playing the game better. Become the man who is constantly leveling up, physically, mentally, financially. Build yourself into someone she looks at and says, "There's no one better." Not through begging for her attention, but through becoming a man of value and vision. Hypergamy doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your results. Become undeniable or be replaced. That's the truth most men are afraid to face. Most men are raised on romantic ideals. Movies, books, and pop culture teach you that love is the ultimate goal, that if you're kind, loyal, and emotionally open, The right woman will show up and complete your life. But this belief system is not only misleading, it's dangerous. Schopenhauer saw through the illusion. He understood that what we call romance is often just nature's trick to keep us reproducing, even when it goes against our reason or well-being. Love, in Schopenhauer's view, is not some divine emotion. It's a biological trap, an irresistible pull designed by the will to life to make men chase women, commit resources, and protect offspring. It feels sacred, but underneath, it's purely strategic. The pain, obsession, and heartbreak you felt, that's not because love is pure. It's because your biology hijacked your logic. When you stop viewing romantic love as a holy pursuit and start seeing it as a natural impulse, you gain freedom. You stop putting women on pedestals. You stop defining your worth by your ability to win her heart. You begin to ask deeper questions. Am I building a life worth living with or without her? Am I making decisions based on truth or fantasy? This doesn't mean you avoid love. It means you engage with it consciously. You stay grounded in reality, not swept away by dopamine and daydreams. You recognize that no woman can fill the void inside you, and it's not her job to. Schopenhauer's message was simple. Don't be ruled by illusions. The man who sees love for what it is, not what he wishes it to be, is no longer a slave to it. He's in control. And in a world where most men are chasing fantasies, the man grounded in reality holds the true power. Desire for most men is a prison they willingly walk into. The constant craving for female attention, validation, and intimacy drains energy, weakens discipline, and clouds judgment. Schopenhauer understood this deeply. He believed that desire, especially sexual desire, is not a blessing, but a source of endless suffering. The moment you want something badly, you lose power. You become reactive, impulsive, and easy to manipulate. Most men today are not in control of themselves. They scroll endlessly, chase approval, and spend money or time, hoping to impress women who aren't even thinking about them. Their desire controls them. And as long as you are ruled by that hunger, you will always be chasing and never choosing. The only way out is through discipline. You must master the very impulses that try to control you. This means resisting the urge to chase meaningless interactions. It means building your body, your mind, and your income. Not to impress others, but to forge yourself into a man of strength and clarity. When you do this, desire no longer becomes your master. It becomes fuel. Channel that energy into building your business, mastering your craft, and strengthening your character. When you transmute desire into dominance, everything changes. You're no longer looking for someone to complete you. You're becoming complete within yourself. And ironically, that's when the world, including women, starts noticing. The man who needs nothing is the man who can have anything. Discipline is the doorway to that freedom. It's not about rejection or bitterness. It's about liberation. You no longer serve your urges. Your urges serve you. That is the shift from boyhood to manhood. That is how you rise above the chaos and start building something unshakable. Schopenhauer warned us, desire unchecked is suffering. Discipline is the cure. Every man who decides to break free from illusion, comfort, and dependency must go through a season of loneliness. This isn't a sign of failure, it's a rite of passage. When Schopenhauer wrote about solitude, he wasn't describing something tragic. He was describing something necessary. Most people are so terrified of being alone that they'll attach themselves to anything or anyone just to avoid facing themselves. But the man who embraces solitude is the one who truly begins to evolve. In solitude, you are forced to confront the raw truth of who you are, your weaknesses, your habits, your potential. Without distractions, without validation, you begin to see clearly. It's uncomfortable, yes, but it's also where the foundations of true strength are laid. Most men avoid this phase. They jump from relationship to relationship, social event to social event, never realizing they're running from the work that needs to be done in silence. You don't build a legacy in the crowd. You build it in the shadows, when no one's watching, when no one's cheering, when no one's texting back. That's when you train, plan, read, and sharpen your edge. That's where character is forged. And when you emerge from that solitude, you are no longer a man who needs others to feel whole. You are self-possessed. And that energy is rare and magnetic. The world doesn't need more men desperate to be seen. It needs more men who are powerful, whether or not they are. So don't resist the loneliness. Embrace it. Use it. Let it shape you. Because in a world of noise and distraction, the man who is content in his own company holds a power that most will never understand. Solitude isn't a curse, it's a crucible. Step into it. The greatest paradox in dating and attraction is this. The moment you stop needing a woman, that's when she starts wanting you. Most men live in a constant state of pursuit, trying to prove their worth, gain attention, or secure affection. But this neediness is exactly what kills attraction. Women are not drawn to men who chase them relentlessly. They're drawn to men who are so grounded in their purpose that they don't need to chase anything. Schopenhauer believed that true strength comes from detachment, not coldness, but clarity. When you no longer rely on someone else to give your life meaning, you become incredibly powerful. You stop trying to impress. You stop trying to earn love. You simply exist as a man of value, and that presence speaks louder than any pickup line or romantic gesture ever could. The man who doesn't need her approval becomes a mystery. He's unpredictable, focused, in control of his emotions and his environment. That's what triggers deep attraction. Not desperation, but discipline. Not emotional overexposure, but emotional mastery. When you prioritize your goals, your mission, and your growth, you naturally become the type of man who commands respect and desire. It's not about being arrogant or indifferent. It's about being whole on your own. You are not seeking completion. You are already complete. This shift doesn't just change how women view you, it changes how you view yourself. You move from seeking external validation to embodying internal power. You stop playing the game like a beggar and start playing like a king. A man who can walk away at any moment is the man who gets to choose. And in a world where most men are trying to be chosen, the man who chooses is the one who wins. That's the power of not needing her. Most men live in quiet desperation because they fear the truth about women. But the men who thrive, who dominate, face the truth and shape themselves in the fire of it. Schopenhauer didn't write a dating guide, but he left the ultimate red pill. Human nature is not here to please you, it's here to test you. Women do not want you to find this video, because the moment you do, you stop chasing them and start becoming a man they chase. Become dangerous, become disciplined, become undeniable. Thank you.